Hey, welcome back, Matadors. This is Mr. Science, and we're going to be reviewing some of the items from the Big Ideas Math mock quiz for Chapter 2, lessons 5 through 7. So this is item number 3, and it's a multiple selection answer that you're supposed to choose from on Big Ideas Math, but we're just going to walk you through it so you can understand what answers are correct and why. So this is item 3, and it's telling you that you multiply the dimensions of triangle A. So you have one triangle A, and you're multiplying the dimensions by 4. So that means we're using a scale factor of 4. So this part means that K equals 4. You're doing an enlargement where you take every dimension and you multiply it by 4, and then you're going to get a second triangle. You're going to get triangle B, and then it asks you to select the conclusions you can make about the similar triangles. So they give you two conclusions. One is about perimeter, and the other is about area. And we'll go ahead and we'll just walk you through giving you some visuals to so you can see how you can solve for a problem like this. So we have little triangle A. So this is the first one we're going to work with. So if we take a little triangle A, and we're going to go ahead and say that this is a right triangle. So that means that this is also a right triangle. And we're just going to give it some values so that you can see the math behind why this works. So we're going to say that triangle A has a few values. Now there is a triangle, a 3, 4, 5, 90-degree triangle. So in other words, if one side is 3, this side is 4, and this side is 5, that's a special triangle. Okay, so we're going to use those dimensions for triangle A. But then it also tells us that we're going to do what with those dimensions? We're going to multiply them by 4. So now let's go ahead and take those dimensions. So we're going to write down 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to multiply each of those dimensions by 4. Okay, and what we get, we're going to use for the bigger triangle. So we're actually doing what the question had asked us to do, just to give you a visual. So the triangles are similar, right? We know that to be true. We know the triangles are similar. So that means all we do is like what we worked out here is we multiply each dimension by 4. So on the bottom, 3 times 4 is 12. The height is 4 times 4, so 16. And the hypotenuse is 5 times 4, so it's 20. So now we have these two triangles. That we can use. I'm going to actually erase this to clean it up a bit. We have these two triangles that we're going to use to prove why the correct answers are correct. So one of the correct responses is that the perimeter of the triangles is one of them is 4 times greater. So the perimeter of triangle B is 4 times greater than the perimeter of triangle A. And let's just go ahead and work through that. So the perimeter, if you remember, you just do what? You add all sides for the perimeter, right? And that goes for any shape. And so for A, we would have, for triangle A, we have a 3 plus a 4 plus a 5, and we get 12 units for the perimeter of the little triangle, triangle A. Triangle B, remember all we did was we multiplied each side by 4, right? We multiplied each side by 4. And we can see that when we add those units together, what do we get? we get 48 units. So notice what happens here with the perimeters. It's also 4 times greater, right? So the correct response, one of the correct responses would be that the perimeter is also 4 times greater because you're multiplying each dimension by 4 of the triangle A to get to triangle B. Okay, so that's how it works for perimeter. Remember, they are single length units, right? The units is not squared, it's not cubed, it's just the unit. And that's why you just take the 4 that you used and you can multiply it to get from the perimeter of triangle A to triangle B. But something different is going to happen for area. And let's go ahead and take a closer look at area. Just to give you a real example, we're going to go ahead and actually apply finding the area of each triangle. So the area for a triangle is half of the base times the height. Okay, and if you're looking at these two triangles, you have the base and the height. I'm going to highlight the base and the heights. They're perpendicular to each other. So let's go ahead and find the actual areas and then see how the correct answer fits in here. So for triangle A, we have a base of, well, we have half, right? We're going to use this half, and we're going to multiply it by the base, and then we're going to multiply it by the height. So what does that equal? Well, these two together are 12. So what's half of 12? We get 6 units, and since it's area, it's squared. Let's go ahead and take a look at triangle B and see what happens. So for triangle B, we still have the half, right? Nothing's changed. But the base is 12, and the height is 16. Now, because these numbers are a little bit bigger, we're going to take a shortcut. So what is half of 12? 6. So we're just going to say 6 times 16 is equal to 96 units squared. So what happened with the areas? Okay, if you're looking at the perimeters, it was real simple. You just took the perimeter of the blue and multiplied it by 4, and you get the perimeter of the red, right? You take the perimeter of the blue, multiply it by 4, and then you get the perimeter of the red. That's what we saw in this area here of the screen. But what about area? What happened? It's not just 6 times 4, right? It's, if you can do your math, it's 6 times 16. So why is it 6 times 16? Why is it 16 and not 4? Like the scale factor shows up here. Well, because remember, when you're working with area, the units are squared. So that means you take the scale factor, right? You take the scale factor and you square that as well. And that's how you end up with the 16. So the two correct solutions would be that the perimeter is 4 times greater, right? And the other answer choice is that the area is what? Not 4, but 4 squared, right? Which is 16 times greater. Okay, and again, this is item number 3. Feel free to email me or post a question in our Schoology group discussion. And remember, grades will be coming up soon. They will be dependent on your third quarter and also what you're working on now. So please check Schoology for that work as well. Have a good day. I hope everybody stays healthy. Bye-bye.